Hey guys, in this lecture we will talk about few more things that are really important when you work with HTML and JavaScript. Okay, so in the last video we have seen JavaScript as a programming language, and in this video we will show you some examples. How does JavaScript interact with the HTML? Okay, so we are going to talk about the interaction between the Java HTML document and the JavaScript. Okay, so let me go to the browser, and this is what we have done so far. Okay, we created a div, and you can see in the body there is a div object. Okay, so if I go to console and if I just clear everything up, and here if I write what is a document, you can see this whole web page is actually a document in JavaScript. Okay, so document is a object, and this document contains multiple things like body. So if you want to see what is body, so body is an object and that contains further these things. Okay, and if you do document dot head, you will see, you will get the uh, head, the part that is contained inside the head and also the head. So clearly we can say this document is an object, and the way HTML stores the entire document is using a DOM model. Okay, so DOM model is called a document object model, where each a tag is an object inside a DOM. Okay, so it's called document object model. Now you can see it has a head, it has a body, and head has further a title object, and it has a style object. Okay, and body also has a div, it has a script tag, and so on. Okay, so what you can do is you can fetch different objects by traversing this DOM tree. So it's a tree like data structure, it's a DOM tree. So let's see if we want to if we want to find out this particular div. So one way to find out this particular div would be you get the body and then you get the div. Okay, let's call it as D. Let me say document dot body dot div. Okay, okay, it doesn't work this way, but what you can do is HTML provides you some special functions. If you want to fetch a element from a DOM tree, you won't be doing something like this, is not what you need to do. But if you want to traverse the tree and find out one particular object, you actually have to use this function document dot get element by id, get element by class name or tag name. Okay, so if I do get elements by tag name and I say okay, I want to find out all the divs from my web page, so it returns me a array of divs, and since in my web page I just have one div, I get that particular div. So suppose if I create another div and this time I do not give any id to this div, and that's what I have done. So I have two div objects in my DOM. So if I do document dot get elements by tag name, so this time I will get two divs. So the array has a length 2, and there is a div which has an id called my div, and there is another div which just has the div class but it does not have any id. So you can get these div elements. So for example, if I say array equals to document dot get elements by class name. Okay, or you can also fetch by id. If you want to specify that I want to fetch this particular div, then you give the id as my div, and here it would be get element. So instead of get elements, you would be fetching out single element, because id is unique for every element. So you get element by id, And now if you see what is A is going to be your this particular div. So A is actually your my div. So this is what A is. Okay. And what you can do, you can also have, let's say, some more tags. Let's say this is a game title. Let's just call it as game title. uh, let's call it as, let me create two paragraph tags, and let's call it as game description. Okay. And let's reload the page. Now you can see I have something called a game title and something called a game description. Now suppose if I want to get this particular object and modify its text, this is what I want to do. So what I will do, I will say, okay, I want to get the paragraph tags. So paragraph tags will be uh, document dot get elements by class name. The class is the paragraph, and sorry, get element by tag name. Okay, so class is not mentioned, so we have to give tag name, that's P. So we get two paragraph tags, and we know the the second paragraph is for the description. Okay, so if I say paragraphs of 1, that will give me the second paragraph tag. And this object will now have some properties like let's say inner text. If you want to see what is the inner text, that's the text inside this paragraph. And if I say, okay, let me override it as modified game description. Okay, so that will actually that will modify my game description here. Okay, so you can update values. So what I am trying to say here is that if you have in JavaScript, you have access to the all the elements that are contained in the web page, and all those elements are part of a bigger object called document. And you can use this function get element by tag name, get element by class name, or get element by ID to fetch one particular object from the web page. And what you can do, you can insert new objects in the DOM, you can modify the objects in the DOM, and you can also delete some objects from the DOM. Okay, for example, if you're designing a news feed and you want to populate some of the objects in the DOM with some data, or maybe you want to create a list of shopping items, so maybe dynamically you want to get some data from the user and populate that list, that can be done using JavaScript. Okay, so I won't be going into the details of DOM manipulation, but if you are interested, you can read how to manipulate the DOM. Okay, but one thing that we would be needing is, so for our game we would be creating one element that is called canvas element. Okay, so canvas element allows us to draw graphics on the web. So I will just comment out everything else. Okay, okay, let me just remove all other stuff, and I will just have one tag, that is the canvas tag, in my game. Okay, so maybe this div is not needed, and even this div is also not needed. So now I have only one tag, that is the canvas tag. Okay, I can give it some ID, maybe let's say my canvas, but there will be only one canvas tag. Okay, and let me show you what you can do. Let's say my canvas, it has some width. Okay, we can also define width here also. We can say width is let's say 1000 pixels, height is also 1000 pixels. Okay, so let's try to run this, and maybe we can give some background color, let's say red. Okay, so this canvas element is a special type of an element that is used to draw graphics using JavaScript. Okay, so it has certain functions like a draw rectangle, draw a circle, draw arc, okay, or draw an image on the canvas. we will see how to work with this particular canvas element. And this looks pretty dark. Let me just say this is also aqua. And suppose if you want to get this canvas element in your JavaScript, so what you can do is you can say, okay, var canvas equal to document dot get element by id, and here I can give the id of the canvas as my canvas. Okay, and let me just say console.log canvas. Okay, or maybe console.log canvas.width. Okay, so we'll see those properties in the console only. Let's try to reload our web page, and let me go to console. Okay, so you are getting this particular canvas whose width is 1000 pixels and height is 1000 pixels. Okay, so now canvas has a lot of methods. Okay, and let's say inner text equal to hello game. Okay, so maybe does it show anywhere? No, it doesn't. Okay, so that's fine. We won't be needing this method. We would be using some drawing based methods on this canvas. Okay, so that's a little bit idea about the DOM structure and how JavaScript is going to interact with HTML elements is with the help of this function document.getElement by id or document.getElements by class name. Once you have these elements ready in your JavaScript, you can make changes to their properties, to their attributes. You can change color, you can draw graphics, you can delete some of the elements. Okay, so all those stuff we will see in the upcoming videos.